The situation is escalating by the hour. It is no longer just a diplomatic disagreement, it is an all-out declaration of war. Elon Musk has essentially pulled the emergency brake on the entire European Union. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the corridors of power, he has blocked the European Commission's advertising account on Platform X. According to stunned observers, Musk has effectively severed the financial lifeline of Brussels' propaganda machine on his global platform. He shut them down, but that was just the beginning. Immediately following this decisive strike, Musk took to the public stage. In front of hundreds of millions of witnesses, he typed out a sentence that will go down in history. Let's sack the EU. Let's be very clear. This was not said in passing. It was not a joke. There was zero sarcasm. It was a cold, calculated, and unambiguous statement meant for the entire world to see. He is challenging the very existence of the bloc. And what happened next? The European Commission, to put it mildly, completely lost its mind. What we are witnessing right now is being described by many experts as a full-blown national, political, and economic tornado. It is the violent, panicked reaction of a massive bureaucratic machine that has been intoxicated by its own power for far too long. They are scrambling because they have never faced an opponent they could not silence. We are living through history, and your opinion is critical to this conversation. We need to know where you stand. Go to the comments section right now and tell us what you think about this explosive situation. So, how did we get here? It is almost banally simple. Elon Musk blocked the EU Commission's ad account on X, formerly Twitter. That's it. Game over. No more advertising money. No more paid propaganda to manipulate the narrative on X. And why? Because the Commission posted an official advertisement on behalf of the EU. While it pretended to promote a simple video, it was actually a deceptive trap, secretly redirecting viewers to an EU website. The irony is absolutely crushing. According to some sources, the Commission used this very post to justify a multi-million-dollar fine against Musk and his platform previously. The EU essentially used a cheap, dirty trick to artificially inflate their reach. Critics are screaming hypocrisy. The EU did exactly what they accuse others of doing, spreading fake news and manipulating users. And now they are shocked that they have been kicked out the door. Elon Musk didn't just react. He put everything in its rightful place. In his view, the European Union abused its influence and tried to bypass the rules. Your ad account is closed. Period. No debates wrapped in bureaucratic nonsense. No negotiations. And now the European Commission is reportedly screaming in hysteria across the continent. Sources say the tone in Brussels has shifted from arrogant superiority to sheer panic. Why? Because for the first time in history, they are feeling what it is like when someone is brave enough to openly defy their authority. And as if this open rebellion wasn't enough, the floodgates have now burst open. Others are stepping into the ring, smelling blood in the water. Geert Wilders, the firebrand politician who just secured a deafening victory in the Dutch elections, didn't mince his words. He didn't use diplomatic language. He went straight for the jugular. Wilders took to X and wrote, quote, "No one elected you. You are a totalitarian regime that cannot even spell the word freedom of opinion." Let that sink in for a moment. A major European leader is calling the European Commission a totalitarian regime. And frankly, with his brutal assessment, millions of citizens are nodding in agreement. What is the European Commission? Really? Ask yourself, did you vote for them? Did anyone you know vote for Ursula von der Leyen? The answer is no. No one in Europe can directly elect this body. Its composition is the result of shadowy backroom deals, secret handshakes, and internal negotiations that happen far away from the eyes of the public. Yet, this unelected body acts above national parliaments. They dictate laws that override the will of sovereign nations, and they have the audacity to call this democracy. Now, the pro-European elites are completely losing their composure. Their narrative is crumbling, so they are resorting to their favorite weapon, fear-mongering. Take the interpretation of figures like Janusz Kluge, for example. The new narrative being spun is that Russian arsonists are joining forces with American tech tycoons and hostile politicians to destroy the European Union. What does that even mean? It is a desperate attempt to manipulate you. The logic is simple and terrifying. If you are against the EU bureaucracy, you are automatically branded as pro-Russian, anti-democratic, and dangerous. They leave no room for nuance. But excuse me, Europe is not the European Union. They are not the same thing. And judging by his statements, Elon Musk does not want to crush Europe. He wants to dismantle the Brussels machine, a machine that believes it is the center of the universe but has forgotten who it is actually supposed to serve. The most terrifying example of this obsession with control comes from the very top. Ursula von der Leyen. In a speech that you can still find on YouTube if they haven't hidden it yet, She stated with a straight face that disinformation is like a virus against which society must be immunized. Read between the lines. What is she really saying? She is talking about pre-bunking. She is saying that the government must act before people even speak. Hello, George Orwell. This is Minority Report in real life. It is the concept of thought crime. And here is the million-dollar question that should keep you awake at night. Who decides what disinformation is? Who is the arbiter of truth? The answer is the European Commission, the very same organization that is currently being accused of running misleading, deceptive advertising campaigns on Platform X. This is not an accident, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a mistake. This is a cold, hard political calculation. Observers are warning us. The entity that defines what information is today will control human thinking tomorrow. That is the endgame. This is exactly why Elon Musk's move is being viewed by many as incredibly critical for the future of the West. It shows that there are still powerful individuals willing to stand up to this madness. Musk isn't using violence. He isn't using extremist ideology. He's using transparency and rules. Platform X, according to free speech advocates, remains one of the last major networks that resist total absorption by the state narrative. It is the last bastion where the narrative cannot be fully controlled by Brussels. And that is precisely why, in the eyes of the establishment, X must be destroyed. They want to crush it legally, politically, and financially. They cannot afford to let a free platform exist because the truth is the one thing their system cannot survive. The conflict has now reached a boiling point. Realizing they cannot leash Elon Musk, the EU has weaponized its laws, threatening fines of up to 120 million euros for failing to remove what they call illegal content. But let's be honest. Under Brussels' digital laws, illegal is whatever they say it is. Today, it is migration debates. Tomorrow, it is your political opinion. Musk's response was nuclear. Abolish the EU. He isn't joking. He echoes a growing sentiment that the EU has transformed into a bureaucratic monster obsessed with control rather than citizens' welfare. Even the US, under Donald Trump, is turning its back. The transatlantic alliance is crumbling before our eyes. Instead of arguments, European politicians like Radoslav Sikorski are now screaming insults, telling Musk to fly to Mars. But it's too late. The public is waking up. They see an arrogant system demanding obedience without legitimacy. Musk has cast the first stone. The era of Brussels' unchecked power is ending. The ultimate question remains, who owns your voice, you or the state? The answer to that question will define the future of Europe. The situation is escalating by the hour. This is no longer just a diplomatic disagreement. It is an all-out declaration of war. Elon Musk has essentially pulled the emergency brake on the entire European Union. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the corridors of power, he has blocked the European Commission's advertising account on Platform X. According to stunned observers, Musk has effectively severed the financial lifeline of Brussels' propaganda machine on his global platform. He shut them down, completely, but that was just the beginning. Immediately following this decisive strike, Musk stepped onto the public stage. In front of hundreds of millions of witnesses, he typed out a sentence that will go down in history. Let's sack the EU. Let's be absolutely clear. This was not said in passing. It was not a joke. There was zero sarcasm. This was a cold, calculated, and unambiguous statement aimed at the entire world. He is challenging the very existence of the bloc. And what happened next? The European Commission, to put it mildly, completely lost its mind. What we are witnessing right now is being described by many experts as a full-blown national, political, and economic tornado. This is the violent, panicked reaction of a massive bureaucratic machine that has been intoxicated by its own power for far too long. They are scrambling because for the first time, they are facing an opponent they cannot silence. And understand this, we are living through history. Your opinion is critical to this conversation. Go to the comments section right now and tell us what you think about this explosive situation. So, how did we get here? It is almost banally simple. Elon Musk blocked the EU Commission's ad account on X, formerly Twitter. That's it. Game over. No more advertising money. No more paid propaganda shaping the narrative on X. And why? Because the Commission posted an official advertisement on behalf of the EU. On the surface, it looked harmless, a simple video promotion, but in reality, it was a deceptive trap, quietly redirecting viewers to an EU-controlled website. The irony is crushing. According to some sources, the Commission used this very tactic in the past to justify a multi-million-dollar fine against Musk and his platform. Think about that. The EU allegedly used a cheap, manipulative trick to inflate its reach, and now critics are calling it out as blatant hypocrisy. The same institution that accuses others of spreading misinformation is now accused of doing exactly that. And now they are shocked that they've been kicked out of the door. Musk didn't just react, he drew a line. In his view, the European Union abused its influence and tried to bypass the rules. So he delivered a verdict. Your ad account is closed. Period. No debates, no bureaucratic doublespeak, no negotiations. And the reaction? Absolute hysteria. Sources say the tone in Brussels has shifted overnight, from arrogant superiority to raw panic. Why? Because for the first time, someone has openly defied their authority and survived. But it doesn't stop there. The floodgates are now open. Others are stepping into the arena, sensing weakness. Geert Wilders, the firebrand Dutch politician fresh off a major electoral victory, didn't hold back. No diplomacy, no filters. He went straight for the jugular. Taking to X, Wilders wrote, "No one elected you. You are a totalitarian regime that cannot even spell the word freedom of opinion." Let that sink in. A major European leader publicly calling the European Commission a totalitarian regime. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Millions of citizens agree. So ask yourself, what is the European Commission really? Did you vote for them? Did anyone you know vote for Ursula von der Leyen? The answer is no. No European citizen directly elects this body. Its leadership is shaped behind closed doors, through negotiations, deals, and power plays far removed from public scrutiny. And yet, this unelected institution operates above national governments. It imposes laws that override sovereign nations and still calls it democracy. Now, as criticism grows louder, pro-European elites are losing control of the narrative. So what do? They reach for their most reliable weapon: fear. A new storyline is emerging. Claims that Russian operatives, American tech giants, and nationalist politicians are somehow working together to destroy the European Union. But what does that even mean? It's vague, it's dramatic, and it's designed to manipulate because the message is simple. If you oppose the EU bureaucracy, you are labeled dangerous, pro-Russian, anti-democratic, a threat. There is no room for nuance. But here's the reality. Europe is not the European Union. They are not the same thing. And based on his actions, Elon Musk is not trying to destroy Europe. He is targeting the Brussels machine, a system that many believe has lost sight of the people it was meant to serve. And perhaps the clearest example of this mindset comes from the very top. Ursula von der Leyen herself once described disinformation as a virus that society must be immunized against. Think about that language. A virus. Immunization. That's not just rhetoric. It implies control. It implies intervention before ideas even spread. This is what experts call pre-bunking, stopping speech before it happens. Sound familiar? It echoes the dystopian warnings of George Orwell, the idea of thought crime. And here is the question that changes everything. Who decides what counts as disinformation? Who defines truth? Right now, the answer is the European Commission, the same body now accused of running misleading ad campaigns. That contradiction is impossible to ignore. This isn't an accident, it's a strategy. Because those who control information today shape how people think tomorrow. That's the real battlefield. This is why Musk's move is being seen by many as a turning point, not because of politics, but because of power. He isn't using force, he isn't using ideology, he is using control over a platform and enforcing rules as he sees them. And Platform X, according to free speech advocates, remains one of the last major spaces not fully aligned with government narratives. That makes it a target. Because from the perspective of powerful institutions, an uncontrollable platform is a threat. And now, the conflict has reached a boiling point. Reports suggest the EU is preparing massive financial penalties, fines that could reach up to 120 million euros for failure to comply with content regulations. But critics argue those rules are dangerously flexible. Today, it's about illegal content. Tomorrow, it could be your opinion. Musk's response? Direct, explosive. Abolish the EU. Not a suggestion, a signal. It reflects a growing belief among critics that the EU has become less about cooperation and more about control. Even across the Atlantic, political shifts suggest the alliance is under strain. The old order is being questioned, and instead of addressing concerns, some European leaders have responded with ridicule, telling Musk to go to Mars. But the tone is changing, the public is watching, and many are no longer convinced. They see a system demanding obedience without direct accountability. And now, For the first time in a long time, that system is being challenged, publicly, directly, and without apology. Elon Musk has thrown the first stone, and now the question is unavoidable. Who owns your voice, you or the state? Because the answer to that question won't just shape this conflict, it will define the future of Europe.